Welcome back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a replay here from Polecat Price from the clan Dog 5, or Dogs, I suppose, in his JPZ 100, Tier 10 and a 357. He's on Malinovka, and there is one arty on each side. I've been working with Polecat for a while now. One thing I've been trying to do is get him to be a little bit more aggressive. I think in the past, maybe 5-6 months ago, if he'd have seen this setup in his JPZ Tier 10 German TD casemate type tank, slow, you'd have found him down there with the JP2 at about C5, or maybe sitting back at A4, A5, something like that, attempting to be a sniper. And so I've been working with him, trying to get him to be a little bit more aggressive. And let's see what happens on this map as he actually pushes up and gets his gun in the game. I think one big mistake that casemate TD players make, especially in the heavily armored ones like this, is sitting back too much and thinking that, hey, I'm in a casemate TD, that is a sniper, I'm supposed to stay hidden and let the fight kind of come to me. But in a situation like this, where you can see that taking the hill is so important on Malinovka, especially on an encounter battle, that if you take your gun up to where the important battle is, you're going to be much more effective and important to the game. So instead of sitting back and letting the game happen to you, get up front and make the game happen yourself. So you've got Polecat moving up. He does get hit by artillery, and that's just something you're going to have to accept. If you're going to get up front and fight with everybody, then the artillery, whatever number of them happen to be in the game, are going to be shooting at you. Even if there was 2 or 3 artillery, you can see that the majority of his team is up here attempting to take this hill. So you've got to knock out the enemy as fast as possible and minimize the amount of artillery hits you can take. And he's doing this by hanging out behind the windmill right here. Now, Polecat, I will say, you are backing up a little bit too much on occasion. You need to back up just enough to keep these guys right here from poking around and shooting you, but not so much that you expose yourself to A, the arty, and B, any of the guys that are coming up to the right side of the windmill. So he's doing a pretty nice job of angling. At first I thought he may have been a bit over-angled to the WZ-113, but he was well angled to the T10 and ends up bouncing the guy that actually had a shot. So there's an example of maybe moving back a little too far. The enemy team probably isn't high enough to get shots, and you saw that the artillery did drop on the other 2 buddies right there. So what you were doing was working, because it forced the artillery to shoot at the easier tanks to hit. But you're also in the game. As far as the backing up goes, the other thing to think about, and this is really nice right here, I mean, how satisfying is 1,400 ammo rack on the side of a, what was it, E75? The other thing about backing up too much, as I was saying, is while the reload on this is long, you want to be moving forward while it is finishing the reload so that you can shoot as soon as possible after the reload. And I like this aggression overall, so it ends up working out really nicely for your tank and for your team. Obviously, a thin skin like a WT or a grill, you may have to be a little bit more careful doing something like that. Maybe you don't go up there, but the trade-off is this. If you don't, that's one of your tier 10 or high tier big guns that's sitting back where the JP2 is. And how much more satisfying is it to get up front, fight these guys, drop 4,311 damage, and not be sitting back with the JP2 or the object and maybe get a shot or 2 on the top of a cupola or maybe a turret or something that's poking up over the hill, or just waiting for the enemy team to be very stupid and drive right in front of your gun. Yeah, I'd investigated that just once and then kept on trucking. Zoom out from there. You go. Trying to gather SA. Looks like the bat check killed the AMX, so someone spotted for him, or he's right up here in front of you. He hasn't been spotted, so he's probably in this corner. You got a tiger there. You got a arty making a run for it. I'd have probably shot at the WZ as he was not running. Much easier to hit stationary targets with the big gun like this, but why not take a shot? That guy had more hit points, it looked like, at that time anyway. I would have not have even bothered about going down to the left there. Polecat, I'd have cut right and gone straight at the Sturb and the Pershing. Just at that point, that's a good point to start relying on your armor. A lot of those guys are going to have a hard time pinning you if they get a lucky hit on your lower blades. So what? You've got a lot of hit points to give. Your team is running these guys over, and the reason you want to go right at them and keep on it trucking is that you want to gather up as much hit points as you can, or at least have a shot. Give yourself a shot, even if it is a long range one. You're stopping right here and looking for the Pershing. It's only one tank, but if you look at where he was last spotted, you haven't even brought him into draw distance. This is a cleanup kind of tactic right here, where I will just keep trucking until I find a good vantage point that brings his last known position into my draw range. So you may have been thinking he'd advanced. I doubt very seriously he would be advancing right here, because the whole team's coming this way. As a matter of fact, we will find out that he's not even where he was last seen. But you want to give yourself the best chance you can. So I'd have brought him into my draw distance, probably up onto this little ridge, slightly up here to the left, and sat there for a moment. However, he is probably not there, because the T-26E5 has gone by that area. So more than likely start cutting right. And I'd have headed probably over here to get up to this hill if I could, but there's so many guns in the game, you're probably not going to get a shot. If you get down into this low area here, you're going to really limit your ability to shoot him when he gets spotted. He went all the way around, so he's just running for his life at this point, peeking over that ridge. So it was unlikely, no matter what you did, you were going to get a shot. That's what ends up actually happening. But make sure that when you're doing cleanup on Isle 2 stuff, you maximize your possibilities. And he ends up getting killed. So polecat's going to get no damage off him. 4,311, 1,320 blocked, 162 assisted. And more importantly, getting his gun in the game from the beginning of the game. He made the game happen instead of letting the game happen to him. And I thought that was a good decision, especially on this setup. You were pretty much the big bad on this map. Not really much over there that was too scary, other than maybe getting tracked and shredded by the bunch of little guns. But you got up there. The influence of your gun on the enemy, making them not really interested in driving up into it. The influence of dropping all the damage on several important tanks in there definitely had a big hand in how this game went. Nice job, man. Keep it up. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you.